Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck going to get him the win out here for qualifier number 1.
It's Dan Patrick and Samson, the biggest arms in the business, going up against Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. Paul Jensen struggled in round 1. Let's see if he's got the kinks worked out. Samson looking strong here. He's across the line. His time 4.340, and Spider-Man jumped the light. He is disqualified, Kevin.
That's right. It's not going to matter how fast or how slow he ran out there. Once you hit the red light, it immediately disqualifies the run.
What happened to him?
Here comes Paul Jensen and Spider-Man back out for his second qualifying run as well. Now, back in round number 1, Jensen had some problems with the truck. He's able to come out and compete out here tonight very strong. And what better of a competitor to jump off with than Samson, driver Dan Patrick. And look at Samson off the line. Here he goes, man, oh man, with an easy win, a 4.175, Wade.
And Spider-Man red lights again. He is having trouble with that timing light, just not getting it done. We're getting a report from the garage, the problem with Bigfoot, a broken axle, and Spider-Man just not able to time the start as he is DQ'd. Your qualifying results look like this. It's Dan Patrick in first, Frank Scattini in second, Craig Christensen third, Rick Swanson fourth, Paul Jensen fifth, and finishing last was Rick Long in Bigfoot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, down here with driver Dan Patrick. Now, Dan, you've been doing this a long time, and you came out here and you showed him that experience sure does pay off, especially in that Samson truck.
Now, a long time just means a couple weeks, doesn't it? Yeah. No, we qualified terrible last night, you know, new timing system, all that. And so I don't know how many times we've been down the course over the years, but, you know, we got it in tonight, and I think, you know, we're in for a good night.
Well, I tell you what, with a 4.175 for tonight, that is one of the fastest times that we've seen posted in the straight line drags. It's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it does. You know, all these guys are tough, you know. And last night you had a couple of guys you didn't think were going to get around. You got around us pretty easy. So, hopefully we'll be talking about this at the end of the race now. So it'll be a good race. It's going to be a close race tonight. Everybody will get a good time.
Well, Dan, you've certainly got the experience, and it's going to pay off out here tonight. You came out fast qualifying time. You keep that up over the course of the night, it looks like you're going to go home a winner.
Yeah, the old Samson's running pretty good for an old ride. You know, she's 13 years old, and, you know, she's still pecking along there, so we'll give her our best shot.
Our drivers about the competition here in Roswell.
Thing is, you can get so caught up in making a bunch of changes that, you know, you get upside down. So, the course will be faster this time because the cars are down and stuff. So, no, we're not going to really change that much. We're just going out and try to be consistent. You know, even though, you know, we got second in both rounds, you know, at the end of the year when the points count, you know, that's better than a first and a fifth. You know, so it's all about consistency, and that's been our game throughout my racing career, is being consistent. It was so close that usually, you know, in a situation like this, if the wrong call had been made, the other team had been up in arms. So nobody was up in arms and upset or anything like that. So it was so close, and we learned that, you know, the timing equipment trips off whatever the farthest point of the truck is. Well, not all trucks are the same. So what we'll do is we'll measure the truck here that has the longest nose on it. We go back to the shop. We come back with the same length. So, I mean, you know, it's so close that a bumper that's 6 inches farther out than what we've got, that's the difference between. No, the thing is again, is not to get upside down and just trying to redo everything. It's just that, you know, we cut good lights, and we kind of got a handle on that. You know, maybe tonight we may be red lighting, but you know, last night was a learning experience for everybody, and we picked up a lot.
Coming on strong here in round number 2 in Roswell, New Mexico.
This sets up heat number 3, featuring Dan Patrick in the Samson truck. He's supposed to be going up against Bigfoot, but Bigfoot has a broken axle, so Samson will get a free pass if he can get through this course unscathed. He does, and he sets the track record here in Roswell with a time of 3.944. What a run for Samson. He means business.
That's right, and looking at the replay, he was all about the win out there. Fast time of the evening. Not only that, but for the season so far in Roswell, New Mexico, reaction time of .243, so he was fast all the way around, as well as the motor to do the job. Moving on to semifinal action in the straight line drags. Here we go. It's driver Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession truck. Going to be pitted up against one of the fastest drivers on the circuit right here, Dan Patrick in Samson.
got the hammer down again. Samson is flying over the car stack across the line. He did it again. 3.889, a new track record here in Roswell, New Mexico.
I got to tell you, that Hemi has got an awful lot of punch out there. Not a lot of these large big block Chevrolet motors can compete with them, supercharged or not. Look at this. Dan Patrick is off the line. He has got the hammer down. There is no question in anybody's mind out there that he is out here to win here in round number 2.
He must have a green light. Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. It's time for the straight line drag final. Your trucks, Dragon Slayer, driven by Craig Christensen, and Samson, driven by Dan Patrick. Samson has broken the track record not once, but twice here tonight.
That's right, Samson, one of the fastest trucks we've ever seen out here, especially in Roswell, New Mexico. Here they go, they're off the line, it's coming down to the wire. Oh my goodness, too close to call. We go to the timing equipment, and Dragon Slayer by 9/1,000ths of a second is going to put Samson home empty-handed as the second place driver.
I don't believe what I just saw. Dan Patrick was on top of it all night, and Craig Christensen just came out and beat him.
I tell you what, that was an absolutely close race. 9/1,000ths of a second is not even visible by the human eye. Only the infrared timing equipment can tell that difference, and let's look at it again.
Monster truck fans, this is what M.O.D. is all about. You got to go to the thousands place.
We're going to talk to Dan Patrick first. Now, Dan, you had the fastest reaction time in the fastest lane all night long. You come out, you go up against our series champion of last year. You guys were separated by 9/1,000ths of a second for the championship here in the drag race finals. That's got to make you feel good knowing you put up an excellent fight.
Well, you know, Greg's no slouch. He's been around as long as I have, so he's a current champion, so, you know, it's like he's got a walker there. So, you know, we'll come back and get it next time.
Well, Dan, great effort out there. You had an excellent reaction time. We look forward to seeing you out here in the Chicago-style obstacle course. It's been a pleasure having you out here and gracing our sport with some of the fastest racing we've seen yet.
Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick, put your hands together for Samson. 9/1,000ths of a second.
We are in heat number 3 of obstacle course racing. Bigfoot recovered from a broken axle. You know, they missed straight line drags earlier in the show, and he's out to take his obstacle course run against that man, Dan Patrick, in Samson.
Well, unfortunately, that truck has been plagued by problems so far this season, but it seems like they're able to get them fixed and get right back out to racing action. Driver Rick Long and, of course, his crew there, including Jim Kramer, joining him out here for Roswell, New Mexico, round 1 and 2. Here we go with an 11.743. Samson is going to take the win over Bigfoot. Wade, that was an awful close race.
0.04 of a second separating first and second place here. Samson really strong around this turn. He's got a good run going here. Bobbles a little bit, catches the corner of that center obstacle, slows him down just a little bit.
Samson with that very strong Hemi making a showing. Let's take a look at it one more time. Look at the reaction time of 0.128 by driver Rick Long.
You know, this competition is so tight, it's spooky. And you know what else is spooky, Kevin? Roswell, New Mexico. There's all kinds of strange stuff going on here. Let's check it out. Record for Paul Jensen. Moving on to semifinal number 2. This will feature Dan Patrick and Samson going up against Rick Long and Bigfoot. I know this is Roswell, and I know there's alien stuff going on, but is this deja vu?
Absolutely. We saw these guys take the matchup in heat race action, and now as the fastest loser, driver Rick Long comes back in the Bigfoot truck, and now they go head-to-head one more time to actually advance through semifinal. And look at this. Dan Patrick and Samson looks like he's going to the big show.
He won it going away with a time of 11.415. Bigfoot comes across the line 0.8 behind at 12.203.
That is going to lead us through the replay here. Let's take a look at Samson one more time. Dan Patrick really finessing that truck with the cantilever suspension. Coming back around, he's lined up off of the mound and takes the win very easily.
Racing action, it will be Spider-Man, driven by Paul Jensen, going up against Samson, driven by Dan Patrick. On a short, tight course like this, Kevin, I got to give the edge to Spider-Man.
You know, we saw Spider-Man post the fastest time in the J-Style racing that we have seen so far this season, especially out here in Roswell, New Mexico. Let's see how he does. It looks like he slept a little bit off the light there. Driver Dan Patrick, we know, is very quick on the light tree. And here he comes. Looks like he's going to take the win pretty easy, Wade.
Flying across the line there at the finish, Samson with a time of 10.786. I can't believe it. Another track record. Man, he's on fire. What a great win for Patrick here. It looks like experience triumphs over youth. Great around the turn. Barely hits the edge of that center obstacle. flies through the air and comes across the finish line as sparks fly off the rear of that truck. What a great win for Samson. Let's take a look at Paul Jensen's run now. Paul had a much slower reaction time of .366. Samson on the wheel again, .07. That's where the race was won. Your finals in round 2 of obstacle course racing, it was Dan Patrick in first, followed by Paul Jensen, Rick Long, Craig Christensen, Rick Swanson, and Frank Scattini. Let's get a word from our winner,
Salt Lake! Dan, it seems like you just can't get enough camera and mic time down here. Once again, you're reigning victorious out here, and it's great to have you out.
Well, you keep coming back long enough, finally you get the prize, you know. So, hey, this kid's got some serious game in that truck, you know. I come out here thinking I was going to be runner-up, you know. But, hey, when you got nothing to lose, you push for all of it. So that was my best run of the weekend. You know, it takes a few laps to get down, but now we're packing up and going to the next gig. So, but no, it was a great run, and we're real happy with it.
Well, I tell you what, I know a question that everybody has been dying, and I know they've been asking me up in the tower up there is, what kind of a role does the funny car experience that you have play in the monster truck game?
Well, you know, we didn't do that much, but, you know, we've done like 4 different professional monster truck racing series with professional timing equipment and all that, and plus I own a system. So, you know, again, it's just understanding the system, understanding how the lights work. And trust me, these guys will, you know, I'm just getting lucky right now. These guys will be on it next couple events.
Well, I tell you what, lucky or not, it's great to have you out here. You're in the winner's circle. You're going to take some cash home, and congratulations on your win in round number 2.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick and Samson!